Hi, how are you?
Just the two of you?
Yes.
You guys can step right here for a quick.
Nuclear submarine. I think we all really knew too that we were really on a kamikaze mission when we first started, because there was hard time to respond to launch and have to be guided or so. Would have been detectable almost immediately by the Soviets.
That is not secret. Because they know where that came from. There was an easy part where we could get that stuff.
Okay, so this small door you see here is a hatch. There's 5 more hatchways inside the submarine. I recommend climbing leg first, and then you can pull your body through. This is just a test.
Okay.
Then you can go to the right or to the submarine.
Appreciate it. Smells like the other ship.
Yeah, oil. Mechanic. Smell like mechanic shop.
Hi.
Hi, folks.
Hi, how are
So we're
you?
gonna have you guys stay in here for just a little bit. We're gonna play a short video for you guys that gives you
Okay.
some background information on the growler, and then after that, we'll just send you right down to do your walkthrough. Okay?
Great,
Thank you.
great. Okay.
Hi, my name is Molly, and I'm a tour guide here at the Intrepid Museum. You're about to explore the former USS Growler, a guided missile submarine that served during the Cold War. I'd like to share some background on Growler to prepare you for your visit and give you a better understanding of this submarine's significance. By the time I'm finished, you'll be ready to enter the submarine. Growler served with the the U.S. Navy from 1958 through 1964 during the height of the Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union. Growler represents an early effort by the Navy to use submarines as launch platforms for nuclear missiles. Growler carried 4 Regulus I cruise missiles. The Regulus I missile was essentially a radar-guided jet aircraft that carried a nuclear warhead. Each missile had a maximum range of 500 miles and was powerful enough to destroy an area as large as New York City. Growler was a key part of the United States nuclear deterrence strategy. The United States believed that the threat of nuclear weapons lurking offshore would deter the Soviet Union from launching a strike against the United States. To accomplish this mission, Growler patrolled off the Soviet Union's Pacific coastline, staying hidden below the surface as much as possible. The crew stood ready for an order to fire the submarine's nuclear weapons at targets in the Soviet Union. To launch the missiles, Growler needed to be on the surface like it is right now. The missiles had to be unloaded and launched one by one. Growler's crew practiced launching the Regulus many times. Thankfully, they never received an order to launch an attack. Many crew members believed that if they launched a missile, they would be quickly discovered and destroyed by the enemy. They lived with this risk every day while on patrol. Growler's longest time on patrol was 72 days. 2 months at sea may not sound so difficult, but on a submarine, it's a different story. Growler's crew numbered from 90 to 100 men. They worked, slept, ate, and relaxed inside these close quarters. While on patrol, Growler stayed below the surface. The crew could not leave the submarine. They had no sunshine, no starlight, and very little fresh air. As you move through the submarine, imagine what life was like for these men, and keep in mind that every single one of them served on Growler voluntarily. As technology improved, newer, larger submarines with more sophisticated missiles made Growler obsolete. It was decommissioned in 1964 after 6 years of service. The Navy planned to use Growler as target practice for another submarine until it was rescued by the Intrepid Sea, Air, and Space Museum. In 1988, Congress turned control of Growler over to the museum, and it opened to the public a year later. Growler is now the only U.S. Navy missile submarine open to the public. It is remarkably intact from its Navy service and retains most of its original features. We ask for your help in preserving this historic vessel. Please do not touch anything inside the submarine and do not bring in food or drinks. You'll be entering momentarily. Staff inside the submarine will be happy to answer any questions you have. Feel free to take photos, but remember that there will be other groups coming in behind you. Thank you and welcome aboard.
All right, there's just 2 extra things I want to tell you folks before I send you down. Number 1, we just ask that everybody please keep their mask on at all times, even while you're taking selfies. And number 2, the submarine does move a little bit, so just watch your step as you're heading down the stairs. Some people may feel a little bit uneasy as they're going up and down the stairs.
Okay.
You guys should be all good to go, and you can just head right through.
Thank you. The volunteers, were they were members of the Navy, correct?
Yeah, you couldn't be assigned by the Navy to work on a submarine. You had to volunteer yourself to work on a submarine. But you were still paid. You were still a member of the Navy.
Right. You probably, maybe they paid you more?
Yeah, they got a little bit higher pay. They got better food.
Okay.
Kind of to compensate for the conditions that they were working in.
And then that missile I saw, that's the one? That's the
the
nuclear?
one, yeah.
Wow.
Obviously not nuclear anymore, but...
Yeah, wow. Take more pictures when we leave. Thank you.
Enjoy.
Ooh, be careful, baby. Oh.
It's so small.
Yeah, a lot smaller than the last one.
they sleep?
Just now, right out the stairs.
Upstairs?
Oh, it's upstairs.
The stairs?
Uh-huh. Oh, that's where they sleep. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, small. Look.
Here, take towel shower
Officer shower.
here. Kitchen. Here, some more bed over here. Hi, how are you?
Welcome. If you have any questions as you look around, let me.
Oh, wow. This is so cool.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Good, how you doing?
Good. Welcome to the Control and Fish Attack Center.
Thank
If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, you're about 15 feet underwater.
Thank you.
Not so bad, right?
Yeah. Oh, cool view over here.
Driving right over here. This is for the rudder, basically moving it left, right. This is for the bow and stern planes, the very front of the submarine, the very back of the submarine. I probably process allergies. So basically it's the front and the back of the submarine. It's gonna basically keep the submarine balanced, helping it rise and dive. And what I mean by dive, I mentioned you're 15 feet underwater, but obviously the submarine would go deeper. About 317 feet is the average. 750 is the most, but that's like really pushing it, because what's happening is you're borderline in crush depth, meaning the submarine will keep it
Right.
itself. Like,
750 feet under the water.
yeah, if you go
Okay.
beyond that, you're gonna, it's like crushing cancer.
Right. So this is where they control, this is where they drove the submarine right here.
Yeah, basically the only person that will be here 24/7 is the helmsman, who's going to
Okay.
maneuver this out, because you're constantly trying to get out of the Slovenian's way. But you could actually combine all three jobs into one position. So if you lose men and you're limited, if you see where it says knots, the dials right below, they're kind of like a light brown. You switch those, and that person can do everything
Oh,
by
cool.
themselves. That's like I said, like an emergency.
Wow. It's amazing.
I'm glad you think so. That means a lot to us.
Thank you, man.
Have a good one.
And what is this right here?
That's called a master compass. So you see this yellow and black compass right up here?
Mm-hmm.
So what basically that's being used with that compass. It's like when you kind of figuring the right information. If you're kind of posting distance driver, like you're doing it in another room, reading different information, maybe with completely the possible development.
Right, okay. Very interesting. There's 3 bathrooms so far.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, and you?
Good, I'm good.
Could you live here?
Oh, that's a big question. I don't think so. It's hard to. Everything is so small. The space limited, and the air, especially the air. So.
No, it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
Oh,
Can you
sir,
live
how
here?
you doing?
Morning, sir.
Good. Wow.
You can go in.
Okay, cool.
Thank
Thank you. So this is to bring down other ships.
Submarines.
Oh, other submarines.
In the
okay.
front of the boat, we shoot ships. Back here, we shoot submarines.
Ah,
Because if you're chased by a ship, you go deep and turn around.
okay.
If you're chased by a submarine, you're chased by a submarine.
Right, right.
So you might as well have the right weapon, because these are
Wow.
only anti-submarine torpedoes.
Wow.
You can open
Is that the way they are going out?
Wow, look at it.
Oh, cool.
Oh, cool. Thank you. It's amazing.
So other times they carry one submarine or two.
There'd be one in each tube the day we went to sea, war shots. There'd
yeah.
be a spare here and a spare below.
So-
This would be pushed under the lockers, and then we had 3 beds here and 3 beds here to sleep 9 people.
Wow.
So we had 4 in inventory.
4 in the back, 8 in the front.
Mm.
But in the front, there are different kinds of weapons because we're
Right.
shooting ships.
Right. And then how did they bring these inside here?
The stairway wasn't there. There used to be an escape trunk
Okay.
that had room for 8 people. Hatch on the top, hatch on the bottom, and 2 hatches on the side. The hatches on the side were, you'd fill the thing with water above the hatches and you'd still have this much airspace, and you'd duck out the side hatch. Well, the hatches were also directed so that a torpedo could come through them and then come down into the boat.
Wow.
And
Engineering is
that
amazing.
yellow collar would be on the front, the nose of the torpedo. And you see it's got pulleys on either side. So it's all manual. Get it down here to the base of the floor and then you start hanging it with chains and chain falls in the overhead until you get it in the skid.
What's the weight of this thing?
1,600 pounds. The ones in the front are 3,000.
Amazing.
This is my job. I'm a torpedo man.
Wow. You served in a submarine?
4 of them.
Wow. Thank you for your service.
Most fun I ever had with my clothes on.
Wow, that is amazing. So today's submarines look totally different, right?
You have, this is exactly the same as today's brand new Virginia class boat, and then you have cruise mess. Everywhere else you live in machinery. And the number one way to prove it, it's funny because you don't pay attention to it. In the missile compartment, a couple of the officers' quarters, radio and sonar, there's a total of 8 freestanding chairs. Not benches, not fixed chairs. Nowhere else in the boat to sit down.
Wow.
Same thing with today's newest boats. There's nowhere to sit down.
90, and with 90 crew members.
Yeah,
They're probably just laying in their
but
beds.
right now, 30 of them are asleep.
Ah.
Right now, 30 of them are working. Right now, maybe 20 guys are eating. So that kind of just puts 10
Everybody's
guys.
got their own schedule.
Sure. 3 shifts.
Perfect.
Mm.
You see? It's
Yeah.
amazing. Well, this has definitely been very fascinating.
Well, I mean, part of it is you don't expect to go to a museum and be inside the exhibit.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you're not behind glass walls.
Yeah, yeah.
You're holding on to something that we used to hang a chain fall on to lift and lower torpedoes.
Yes, that's amazing.
But you walk through this boat and you're now part of it. So the questions you ask are from firsthand. Could I sleep there?
Right.
Could I breathe this air? Could I not see the sun? And so you ask yourself the questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, very hot. And with 90 people
Not hot.
here.
It wasn't hot on this boat. This boat was 66 degrees in the torpedo rooms and 75 in the middle, but not hot.
Great AC unit. Like,
Not so much. It was cold water. We
Right.
sailed in the Bering Sea, and the engines here only ran 5 hours every 3 days just to charge the battery. So by the time the engines got hot, it was time to turn them off.
wow.
Oh.
So the major heat on the boat was body heat for 100 people. And then remember the 1960s, all the electronics had tubes that glowed and were warm. And remember your grandmother's radios, you know, used to go and it was hot.
Right.
So that was another part of it.
Huh. Very interesting. Yeah, we were in Jersey and we visited USS New Jersey,
The battleship.
the battleship
Yeah.
New Jersey. That was amazing as well.
Is that in Camden?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it was lovely.
Yeah, see, I 7 years on submarines, I was never on a surface ship other than to cross over our submarine tender to get to the pier. But we never went to a sea on a ship.
And did you volunteer to be in a submarine?
Oh yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
You have to. You actually sign a form.
Wow.
And that starts the testing. The first tests are physical. They put you in a pressure chamber at 200 feet. They bring in a soccer ball with you, and as they increase the pressure, the ball gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So it finally crushes the ball. And then they put you in a chamber 120 feet under the water, and you have to escape.
Oh my gosh.
And so if you can do that, then they start the practical tests. How do you react to bad smells, to noises, to vibration, to pressure, to vacuum, to claustrophobia, things they can test you for. Then the next step, if you pass that, is the psychological. And it's 5 written tests, about 200 questions each. And in between each of the tests, you meet with a psychologist.
Wow.
By the time you're done, they know you can do this. And you volunteered. So you wanted to. There are very few places in the service where you can tell them what you want to do.
Right, right.
Everywhere else, it's no, I don't get, we're going to tell you what to, here you said, I want to be on a submarine.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
But you need to pass all the tests and
Yeah,
practice.
it's not easy.
Yes.
In the end, what they're looking for is one person.
Yeah.
Somebody who can get along with everybody, somebody who has a good sense of humor, somebody who's really smart, somebody who has common sense, somebody who doesn't have a temper.
Yeah.
Right, right.
And they keep weeding it out as they ask you all these questions, and they finally get to the last week, and you know, you're the candidate.
Yeah.
But you get here with 100 people that want to do it. So there's a positive attitude. Everybody's happy about
So
this.
proud.
That's great.
Yeah, it is. It's what makes it work. Plus,
Yeah.
the average age is 21 and a half.
Wow.
You're immortal.
Yeah.
What you see as adventure, people see as danger. But you're 21. There's no danger.
Amazing.
And even the captain was 35. You know, so nobody is so old
Wow.
on the boat.
Captain 35.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then I guess I saw in the base over there where it said no showers sometimes at all. But I did see a couple of showers. Is that just for the officers or?
Oh, no. If there was water for showers, the first 2 people who got showers were the cook and the medic.
Wow.
Because that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why give it to a captain? Who's he going to impress?
Hello,
Hi.
everybody. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Not bad at all. Can I scan those tickets? Very good. You
Thank
take
you.
the stairs or the elevator?
Appreciate it.
You want stair elevator? See, secret not good.
Inside the ship.
This is a miniaturized replica of the cast-iron stove that you can see in the nearby kitchen. It was manufactured in New York in 1850, just as this building was being constructed. It was cutting-edge technology at the time. It was only in the 1840s that the use of stoves became more common, replacing open cooking methods. servants were adopted not to make it compete easily, but instead to increase rural efficiency. It took an enormous
Here.
Renaissance with 64 sorties to North Vietnam PT bases. 25 boats, more than half the fleet were destroyed. North Vietnam War repairs, that is the fleet.
Lucas, welcome aboard. I'm Roger, and I'll be your instructor for today's training session. You've chosen the nut as pilot, part of your task in a few...
to cool down. Those little things, tiles. You realize how big this thing is.
Mission patch.
Wow.
And I did that as a tribute to the crew of Columbia who lost their lives.
That is amazing, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing
No
that.
problem.
That is amazing. Where it's been destroyed up there, right?
Right.
That was a test.
If you'd like, I don't mind your progress. So when Columbia lifted off the pad a piece of insulated foam, so there are bearings that hold these onto place onto the external tank, and they typically connect at the top. A piece of insulated foam had fallen off these bearings and struck the wing right here, and put a 16-inch hole.
Yeah.
So they wanted to simulate what had happened. Yeah.
Very interesting.
And then there's also some original writing from NASA as well in pencil. FP8.
This is the real thing, right?
This is a real orbiter, yes. She never went to space though. But she was the prototype for the space fleet. Yeah. But there is a piece of spaceform hardware on her. Because they used Enterprise as they picked pieces off her to put onto other orbiters because it was a little easier since it was just sitting in an angle. On the other side of the leading wing, the carbon-carbon, there's a gray piece of carbon-carbon. That piece went to space. Yeah.
How did you guys get this thing in here?
So she was brought by barge, and then they lifted her by crane. And they actually built the facility around her.
Wow.
Yeah. And then they had one here previous, which was destroyed in Hurricane Sandy. And then they had built this for climate change. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. No problem. Enjoy the rest of your visit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
forward, downward, and out the sides. These cameras can continuously record a 10-mile wide area of terrain.
Okay, welcome to the portside elevator. This is the last of the original elevators. Originally there was this one and two centerline elevators, one aft, one forward. During renovation in the 1950s, we took out the rear centerline elevator to help improve flight operations. When I talk about improving operations, during the Vietnam conflict, we were able to get two jet planes taking off. Let me go. One jet plane landing every 50 seconds during the day, every 60 seconds at night. Right now we're moving very slowly in a battle zone. This trip was made in 7 to 9 seconds, carrying 50,000 pounds of aircraft and or ordnance. The decking, teak wood. Originally the entire flight deck was teak wood. It gave the ship a lower center of gravity, made it faster. It was a great idea until we started getting hit by kamikazes. That ended it. Right now we're starting to approach the hangar deck. Think of it as nothing more than a parking lot, maintenance area for aircraft. The vertical columns swung out, the horizontal columns swung up, and up to 50,000 pounds again of aircraft was pushed onto here. We're not in operation, we're not in a battle zone. This was a beach. The sailors sunbathed on it. They swam in the Pacific Ocean. When they swam in the ocean, there was a sharpshooter up there and a sharpshooter up there watching out for sharks. Sharks make good swimmers, great swimmers. The forward centerline elevator was taken out when it became a museum. Also, during the 1950 renovation, we added the starboard aircraft elevator. Every carrier has 3 aircraft elevators. The mechanics of this, the idea of this, come from a place a half a mile away. Radio City Music Hall. The stage in the 1920s goes up and down. What a great idea for aircraft carriers. It was so important during World War II to our security. Radio City was guarded 24/7 by federal agents. Are there any questions? Any questions? I promised you 5 minutes. I did it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So much.
You're welcome.
It have to be small so it can go fast.
And no radar could detect it. That is so cool.
No.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're halfway through the submarine.
Thank you.
Of course. Hi, welcome. Any questions? Let me know. Okay.
Right. You know what? Everybody smells. But that's the other thing. Everybody smells. There's diesel oil in your clothes, in your pillowcase. There's smells of cooking. There's stale air. There's hydraulic fluid. There's diesel oil. Boat smells terrible. And yes, there are showers, but we used them to store potatoes, carrots, and onions.
Wow.
That was the end of our fresh food. I mean, you hardly ever think of potatoes, carrots, and onions as fresh food. But, and all the rest of the food is stored on the floor, cans. You walked on them.
Huh.
Everybody's too tall. You're 9 inches taller.
Wow.
And they even need to be skinnier to fit in.
You know what's really interesting? We live in an 18-hour day, not a 24-hour day. So the day we go to sea, we switch our clocks over, so 3 6-hour shifts. So you sleep 6 and you work 12. It's great when you get used to it because you always feel fresh, you never feel tired. In a 24-hour day, you still sleep 1/3 of your day, 8 out of 24, but for 2 more hours sleep than the 6 we get, you have 4 more hours work. You're more likely to be tired in a 24-hour day. Our reflexes are great, but we can only do it because we don't have the sun.
Wow. That's amazing. I didn't even know about that. Thank you so much.
Wonderful, wonderful.
No matter what you do here, everything has to make sense, otherwise you get wet. Right?
Yes, yes.
We have a very short memory. Nobody ever picks wet.
Wow. And thank you for your service.
Thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much.
Be safe in New York.
Thank you, sir.
Don't spend any money.
That's going to be my Thank you, sir. Alrighty. So beautiful, huh? What are you saying at that nuclear missile? You know that missile up there? You wipe up a whole city the size of New York just like that.
Wow.
I was getting seasick.
Oh.
Look, we took out 2 photos earlier today, guys.
Oh, thank you.
Because his shirt was green, the computer thought that his shirt was part of the background, so that's why he's faded into the background.
How much is that?
Altogether, it would be $33. You'd also get the smaller prints as well as digital